Hello everyone, and welcome back to a new episode of Kerbal Space Program. I think the last episode is the one where we went up into high orbit and came back, right? So we have a bunch of science just lying around. What exactly would be advantageous to research? Well, we were looking into that, and then I realized that would work better in this next episode. We could grab some electronic stuff, but we don't actually, I think, need any of that. Exactly. Just to, like, fly by the moon. We should have enough electricity. Thermal control system. Huh, what does that do? I mean, I guess it controls the temperature, I guess, but how is that different from... I guess it's just a radiator, basically. But, like, a different one. Okay. Wow, what is all this stuff? Stuff we cannot get. So, science, we could get, like, there's a bunch of adapters, and who cares about that? This is something they want us to research, but it's not worth, Okay, so it's like a slightly smaller decoupler that takes up less space. Anyway, but we don't really need it. So the obvious thing would be aviation, of course, but we can basically skip this if we don't want a space plane, and I don't really. Heavy rocketry would be pretty cool. We could get some... It is designed to be recovered after jettisoning. Really? Wait, have my old ones been like that? And I just hadn't, Maybe I should just put some parachutes on a booster and get those back, and then I won't have to keep wasting as much money on these, all these boosters if I can dump them and then put parachutes on them. How do you, I guess what you can do is, like, stage activating the parachutes at the same time as you stage the decoupling. Of course, then the parachutes could go off right away, but you can set them to have a lower altitude setting or something like that, so that the parachutes don't activate while it's next to the ship, but only when it gets close to land. That's an interesting idea. This could be an improvement in our, like, the amount of money that we spend on each of these flights, and we would get a better, Ooh. This is a pretty good amount of thrust for, like... We could use this to replace the, these guys that we're using. Which are, like, pretty mediocre, honestly. We're using them basically just for vectoring, which is a bit silly. Whereas this would be a good replacement for our current orbiting stage engine. So I think all three of these would be pretty good to have. So I'm leaning towards picking up that. Picking up the heavy rocketry sort of thing. I think it would improve matters for us, make it easier to get to more interesting orbits. And all the rest of the stuff doesn't seem that important yet. Advanced construction. So this would let us, you know, have like a single decoupler that decouples 3 stacks. So, like, that would be cool, I guess. The radial decoupler, like, yes. I don't know. Greater space between mounting points. I see. Anyway, so I think that it's just fine. Let's pick up heavy rocketry. What's the worst that could happen? We, in principle, shouldn't need these, I think, but they should make life simpler. Wow, yeah, that is a heck of an engine. And this is also pretty reasonable. Just remember, try to recover it instead of burning it up. So let's see. Let's try building a new ship. Just partly for practice and also what? So that I remember to use the new parts. So we want to have... Where's our science bit? I think this science junior is still quite useful, but we want to put it inside of this payload thing so that we can comfortably recover it. That has been a reasonably working set of sort of arrangement for us, is to just basically put that in a bit of armor. And we're going to need a parachute on this. What else? We need an orbital stage, so let's grab a fuel tank, and just one of these was more than enough, I think. Well, it's just barely enough to get into high orbit, whereas what we would like to do is fly by the moon if possible. And this might not be enough fuel for that stage, although I think it is. I think the problem is just that, like, we're not getting there efficiently. And I don't know whether that's mostly because I'm piloting badly, mostly because I've built a bad rocket, or mostly because we just don't have powerful enough tools. But we have more powerful tools now, so at least one axis of badness is going away. So which of these do we want to use for the orbital stage? I think it's this? The Poodle? We could choose the Skipper instead. But the Skipper is, like, pretty large? I think we want something a bit smaller for the orbital stage. Whoa! It's got, oh, I see. These are larger parts. These are designed to go into, like, a Rockomax or something. Did we ever get that Rockomax adapter? We did. Interesting. Huh. Well, what does this do? So we could do this to attach that, I guess. But I don't know if switching to the new thing is really worth this, and I also don't know if it'll even fly this way, right? Like, does the fuel get from here to here? Or does the adapter get in the way? I don't know how it works. I feel like this is maybe a bit unnecessary. The Poodle seems pretty good for an orbital stage. It's just like we don't have a fuel tank that fits this. And I don't know if we should need one or what, like, or if this is really only necessary for getting into... Are all of our new engines this way? No, this one! Okay. Well, that's exciting. So let's try just changing the booster that we use to this kickback thing. We're gonna need a decoupler here. And put an engine in. The Terrier was serving us fine, I think. Yeah, it's only 60 kilonewtons. We could maybe add a bit more. Why exactly are we choosing it? Is it particularly efficient? Is that the deal? Where is its efficiency rating? 345, and this is 320. It's quite a bit cheaper. That's nice. It doesn't push as hard. And it's a bit more efficient, I think, right? This is 320, this is 3... Okay, so I think the total... The amount of delta V that this has... Is that the wrong... I think delta V is the wrong word there. This has enough oomph, it just doesn't apply it very quickly, and we don't need it applied quickly, so I think we're fine with this more efficient one. And if we want to get more total oomph, we can just add more fuel to this stage, I think is the idea. So this guy decouples from here, and we'll put in next another decoupler under this. And then we'll build our lower stage out of some fuel like so. I think we were using 2 of these. And... oh, let's rotate this. Not like... there we go, like that. Actually, it'd be interesting to know just which part of this is north. Is the hatch like the direction it's facing, and then I can have it pointed east, basically? That would be kind of nice. I'll assume that's the case. And we wanted to put on, at the bottom of this, an engine. And we were going to use this new engine that we got, I think, we could use like the skipper, but we actually like don't understand how to use it. So let's just put on these guys, same as we were before. They have not a lot of thrust, but that's okay. These guys are more for rotating us, I think. How do they look? A little silly, but that's all right. And we'll put on a radial decoupler on the opposite side to these guys, and let's try to keep it near the center of mass, like here. How do I see the center of mass? Is there a button for that, or do I have to click? Anyway, there's the center of mass. Fine. And when we attach the new booster, we want to attach them near its center of mass as well, if possible. Wow, these things are gigantic. See, if I do that, it really does make the upper stage look a bit silly. What could we do about this to adjust the center of mass to be a bit more reasonable? We could basically put more fuel in each of these 2 stages to lengthen things a bit. So let's pull this off for the moment and attach one more fuel tank to the upper stage. Somehow we've gotten like... oh, I see. We put the decouplers on in a not quite 90-degree angle, and therefore while the rocket is nominally pointed north, these things are in a weird spot. So, how easy? What? Get out of here, guys. I don't know. Let's try to put these on... What direction are these even facing? Get out of here and give me a new one. I don't understand how they were facing. So there we go. This is at like 90 degrees. Right? Now attach this to it. They're still taller than the whole rocket. So we'll put some more fuel onto this stage as well, I guess. I mean, this is not exactly good engineering practice to be like, well, the rocket looks a little lopsided, let's try putting more fuel on. Ideally, we should be planning, right, how much fuel this all is going to take. Okay, well, that is happening. We're going to run up against the parts limit this way, I think. But fortunately, we have some struts, and now we can attach struts here. But I don't know what happens to struts when you want to decouple them. Because we definitely don't want to attach these parts permanently to this part. Right? I guess what we want is more decouplers to sort of hold it together. Right? This is starting to look like a Dumber and Dumber rocket. I'm starting to regret taking this advanced rocketry that we don't know how to use yet. Okay, well... while we're here, let's remember to put some parachutes on these guys, because we do want to, like, recapture them. Can you put a parachute over a nose cone, or does it go, like... Oh, it goes under a nose cone. That's pretty cute. Oh, it doesn't. You can only put one on or the other, I guess. Okay. So if I took this off, then this would go on just fine. But I couldn't put this on. Yeah, okay. Ah! Undo. Go back. Okay. You get out of here. You get out of here. So yeah, we're, I don't know if we should put more decouplers or what, or if this is just gonna be, like, fine. Oh, also these guys, we kinda want them this way, so that these can fire without exploding them, basically. Oh, we have some fancier winglets, I guess? I forget if we were using these already. So this is a control surface thing. This is, you know, more about stability. Okay. Let's try putting on 4 of this guy. Near the bottom. Okay. Okay. We're actually not at the parts limit yet, and what we have is sort of a functioning craft. Maybe? Let's put a radial mount parachute on this. I guess since it's radial mount, we want it near, like, the center here. We have a parachute on this already. These guys are ridiculous. But, okay. We want to try out new things. Maybe this flight is going to be a disaster, but I want to see how it's going to go. What can I do? What do I still want? I'd like more science, but not mystery goo. We've already done all of the mystery goo stuff we can do, really. We could put a thermometer on it, but that gets blown up on the way down, and, like, I don't think you get to keep the readings. And I think the barometer would be in similar trouble. I don't know, maybe with Jeb keeping things steady, maybe we can carry a thermometer on, and it's just 900 bucks. So let's put one on and see what happens to it. What else do I... Get out of here. What else do I need on this? Obviously, like, I need a reality check, but in terms of parts, what is this missing? It could stand to have one more parachute, I think? I'm still not totally comfortable about landing this science thing. I should try it just once. Like, if the science thing blows up, you know, big deal. We learned our lesson, we're gonna need a second parachute. And if that doesn't happen, then fine. I guess the thing we want is a stabilizer for the launch pad, like we had before. We want one basically over here. Looks good. That hopefully holds it up relatively steady. And we want to adjust the staging a bit. Put this down here. So we fire both, all the engines at once, agreed. Although, honestly, we'll want to keep these on pretty low. They're really just for providing a bit of tilt. I would be sort of inclined to pull them a bit higher, honestly, because they would provide tilt better if they were attached, like, up this high. But I kind of want them to help me get thrust. Maybe these guys will provide enough thrust that we don't need anything but vectoring from these, in which case we can move them higher. I feel like this is an anti-pattern. These really shouldn't be down here, but it's been going okay, so no need to upset the apple cart here. Alright, and then what happens with these? I think we want a new stage here where we do this. So first, in this stage, we detach these guys and fire their parachutes. Meanwhile, let's configure the parachutes so that it doesn't go off until it's at, like, halfway through the atmosphere or something. I don't know. This way, I think we make it so they don't, like, fire the parachutes when they're right next to the rocket. They'll fall down gracefully, and then when they start getting closer to the ground, then their parachutes will activate once they're out of the way of the main craft. Okay, so this stage, we activate the parachutes on these things and throw them away. This stage, we then decouple the liquid fuel guy. Wait. Do we not have a decoupler in here? We need a decoupler in between these two stages. Okay. Well, we're at 30 parts right now. We could take off the thermometer, I guess. Get out of here. Pull this down. Oh no, this is the engine. We want to separate it here. Put a little decoupler in, like. Wait, there already is a decoupler. I'm just wrong. So where are we decoupling that? We're decoupling it too soon. Okay. So we want to move this up to here. So we can decouple these two, and then keep burning with this stuff, and then finally decouple this, and turn this on when we're ready, throw it away when we're done with it, and then come in for a landing. Okay, that seems like the idea. We can put the thermometer back on now. And I'm still not at all sure like how safe this is. I feel like this is very primitive stuff. I'm just like, put bigger things on, it'll be good. And I think that I should be doing something much more sophisticated, but this is the advanced rocket using our advanced rocketry techniques, I guess. I'm not convinced. Let's just see, what does it even look like? Well, actually, let's see if we can pick up any contracts first. I don't understand how to use the Rockomax stuff yet, so that's something that could use some clarification. Oh look, test a hammer solid fuel booster at the launch site. Haven't we done this before? Okay, so this ferry 3 tourists to their destination. It's kind of hard for us to do. We could build 2 crew cabin things, but I don't really want this. So this one we could do just by, like, basically doing nothing. But no rush. Test the kickback solid fuel booster. Is that the one we have? I think it is. That's the one we're using. Right, we just unlocked this kickback solid fuel booster, so we can take that contract quite easily. Haul it into flight above Kerbin. Great, I accept. So now I think we can just say, yes, I will try this rocket, and I am not at all confident how this is going to work out, even with Jeb piloting. Jeb might not be enough to save this monstrous, like, I don't know. I'm just hitting the problem with bigger and bigger hammers when I think something. Anyway, as I said, okay, yeah. See, this is clearly not going to work. Look at this stuff; it's a mess. It's not strapped in properly. It's just way too loose. So we need more decouplers to attach, like, at 3 places to get us a little more stability. So I think we will do that. Recover this vessel. Yes, next. And in order to put on more parts, we will need a larger this thing. And again, like, I think we should be able to get to the moon without needing more than 30 parts, honestly. But let's go ahead and do it anyway. Just so, like, we can get on with our lives, rather than learning how to be good at the game. So let's just put on a couple more decouplers here. Does that work? Like, are these now attached to these guys? They look attached. They look like they're attached on both ends. And we'll put another one at the bottom. So, what's the deal here? We want, at the first stage, our staging is all crazy. We want the new ones to go into this step, right? These two, and these two, and these two. So the question is, are they actually attached? I don't know if you can make groups of decouplers like this. Maybe this is not the way to do it. Is there some way we could turn this into 2 stack decouplers at the top? Like, or strut these guys connected to something that will fall off at the same stage as them? Maybe what we should do... This seems like such a bad plan. But what if instead of 2 of these boosters, we had 3? Okay? Now, I think you can tell immediately why this sounds like a bad plan. We just have way too much firepower on this rocket, right? It's carrying too much oomph. We're gonna get too high for no real good reason. But if we had 3, we could put them in a triangle shape and strut them to each other for stability. That just doesn't seem like a good plan. But what we could do is rip these guys off completely, not use any of our new tools, and get 3 of the previous iteration, these thumpers, right? Wired together. So first of all, let's get rid of all these stupid decouplers. Right, and we put in a 3-way decoupler. Ugh, it's gonna be... Where do we put them exactly? Because we have these guys still. Maybe that's not how these are supposed to be used. Maybe we should put a real, ordinary liquid fuel engine at the bottom of this. Yeah, actually we should. We were using these, like, I don't know, for no good reason. We now have a proper... We have a proper engine to put at the bottom of this, I believe. The skipper would be good, except it's too large. The Rockomax decoupler or adapter might be a good thing to use. But I think we could use like this swivel guy here. Provides reasonable thrust. It's reasonably efficient. And it's good at vectoring, I think. This one doesn't vector at all, or gimbal at all, I don't know. This one gimbal's a bit better, but of course it's like really, yeah, so let's try putting a swivel at the bottom of all this. And that way we don't need to deal with these things on the side. Hello? There it goes. Take off these fins for the moment. Grab a decoupler, put 3 of them on in the middle somewhere. Seems alright. And then attach hammers at each of these points. These decouplers are way too high. How about like this? That seems fine. Okay. Now let's put some aerodynamics on top. And I think we still do want parachutes on these guys. We might as well try to recover them, right? The radial parachute. Now bring back the fins, but mount them with 3-way symmetry instead of 4. So they fit nicely in between each of these guys. You see the idea here? Now we have this rocket with 3 boosters, and they're gonna wobble, but we can strut them together, right? That's the idea anyway. Just like this, maybe, and then again at the bottom. Now, what I don't know is what happens to these when you decouple. All right, well, if we decouple radially, and these struts stay in place, that sounds catastrophic for this ship, doesn't it? I'd kind of like to test that on a much simpler ship. So let's save this, and just build a new, I can't type up there yet for some reason. We'll just build a new unmanned pod that's like really, really simple. What do we even need on the top stage? Like nothing? But what I want next is... we could test the Rockomax stuff at the same time, maybe? Let's try that. So we'll put in a fuel tank for a liquid stage. Hello? Why won't it even go? I've built rockets with this before, haven't I? Can I attach anything to that? What's the deal? Oh, I have 2 of these. And it didn't want to attach to that one. Okay. So let's just jam one of these guys on. And I wanted to try a Rockomax adapter to see if we can power a Rockomax style engine from this. So like this skipper, it should burn through all that fuel in no time. So can I or can I not put a parachute on this? I can't put this guy, as I recall, but I should be able to put a radial mounted parachute on. Yeah. It would be nice to recover this, you know? Even though it is unmanned, it would be... I'd rather have it than not. And what I wanted to test next was... a radial decoupler coupling here. But I can't even do this without them slamming into the, Alright, so maybe this is a bit bonkers. But what if I put in a girder sticking out like this? This is just for a test rocket, right? This is not a real, actual good rocket, right? With a radial decoupler on the end of it. Actually, it should be the other way around, right? A radial decoupler here with a girder sticking off the end. And to those girders, we will attach a crummy little jet engine. Or, not jet engine, like some fleas or something. Like so. And I want to make sure to attach some struts between them so that I can determine what will happen when we decouple. Will the struts vanish? Will they be magically severed? If not, I expect this decoupling to be a nightmare, right? The whole thing will just fall apart. So I think that they will, yeah, I think that the struts probably will break, but this is how we're going to test that. Okay, and aerodynamics, we'll put a thing here. And we might as well put some parachutes on these guys as well. Okay, and now let's look at our staging, because this whole craft is a bit bonkers. Right now we're bringing this home, which actually probably we can't even really manage to do. I can tolerate 8 meters per second impact. Maybe we could do it. How about the fuel tank? 6 meters per second impact? We're probably going to be a bit too heavy for that. Let's just drop this whole stage. Then we're just adding a decoupler just for the head? This seems a little bit silly. Just to be able to catch the unmanned probe. Undo, put that back. Okay. How much of this do we want to try and catch? We can catch these guys, no problem. We could probably put on enough parachutes to catch all of this, really. Let's just make this actually 3 of them. And I think that ought to slow us down enough that we can land over water with this. Yeah. Give it a try. Alright, let's have a look at our staging now, because it clearly is not right. So the first stage, we want to launch these guys, I agree. Then we want to decouple them and activate their parachutes. Yes, I agree, that looks good. Next stage, we want to activate this guy, but not its parachutes. So move the engine part down. Fly around for a bit, and then lastly, we'll activate the parachutes. Okay, so this is a... what are we trying to do? We are testing a hypothesis here, so this is the hypothesizer. Save it. And this episode's going a bit long, so we're definitely not going to get back to that big craft until we're done with the episode. But we want to test 2 things. 1, can liquid fuel flow through this adapter? 2, well... 2, what happens to these struts? 3, can we actually bring all of this home with parachutes? And I guess 4, can we bring these fleas home with parachutes as well? So let's give that a try. We lack SAS, but we're going to be just going straight up. Oh, we don't have any fins, and I think we will want some, or we're going to go crazy. So let's just recover this. Yep, done. How are we for parts, by the way? 25. So you just doing even a little when you start adding struts and girders and stuff. Oh, we're gonna bring back the girders? That feels a little bit silly, but I guess it's fine. They can tolerate 80 meters per second impact. They'll be fine. Okay. But we wanted some fins. And honestly, just like a basic fin is fine. We're not doing anything crazy. I guess 3 is probably right. We don't want 4 because then one of them will end up under this maybe. Okay, let's save this again. Launch. We don't have SAS, which makes me a little nervous, but there's honestly very little that can happen with such a ship. Which way is north? I don't even know. We are headed north, so to get over the ocean, we're going to want to yaw to the right. Confirm these are okay, launch these, then once we're in the air, drop them, and activate their parachutes. Ah! I should check their parachutes. Set the min pressure to be something pretty high, altitude, like, honestly, 500 should be plenty. And if we can't get 500 meters over the ground with these guys, then, well, ugh, all of these got. All right, let's go back to the VAB again, just adjust them together as a unit. We want to make sure the parachutes on them don't go off too soon. So set it to like 500 meters, which should be plenty of time to catch just these tiny little things from not being very high up. And a min pressure of like, I don't know, half an atmosphere. If we miraculously get above half atmosphere, I don't know, I guess it would be good if we don't set these off, but I don't think that's likely. These we'll leave alone. Oops, this we'll leave alone and just fire at 1,000 meters, I guess. Okay, now I think it looks okay. Save, launch. Maybe we should have rotated it 90 degrees, but whatever. I'll just remember to yaw right, and it'll be fine. Yeah, let's give this launch a try, right? These, then this. Alright, well, actually, just throttled it like half is probably fine. That thing eats up fuel pretty fast, so we don't want to go through it too quick. Alright, let's launch in 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, we're using up our solid fuel very quickly. Are we going to be able to... I can't steer this thing like at all. I'll get those out of here. Alright, now I can steer, though. Oh, I couldn't steer because we didn't have this turned on. Yeah, also, we don't have any SAS, so it's just spinning like crazy. Well, it'll be interesting to know if we succeeded in recovering any of those parts. But I guess we'll never know. Or not yet, anyway. Alright, well, here we are. We've reached the apex of our flight and used up our fuel. Ah, so we proved, 1, that the fuel works. It looked like the struts came off like we wanted. So that was good. I haven't yet figured out what happened with the parachutes, but I didn't hear any explosions. So that's good. I think they would have hit the ground by now if they Alright, let's launch the parachutes. Oh, that's our shadow. I thought it was another piece falling. Alright, we slowed down to 5 meters per second, which I think is within the tolerances for all of these parts, but we'll see. It'd be pretty cool if we were able to reuse, to recapture most... Ooh! That sounded like a part that was not attached to a parachute properly. And I think we blew up at least one of them because we were spinning so wildly. And of course, having a pilot on board would have maybe made this a bit simpler. Made it work a bit better. Because we could have turned this on and activated SAS. But I didn't want to risk a pilot's life in this obviously very experimental and dangerous spaceship. But now that I have some idea about the stuff we were testing... Alright, yeah, we recovered these parts. Very good. Just sploosh. Okay. Let's recover the vessel. Now that I have some idea, we can put a real pilot in something kind of like that. Yeah, we got no useful stuff out of this. Fine. What did we recover? This was all of the main stage. Yeah, we did not succeed in recovering anything from the parts we jettisoned. I'm not sure why. I feel like their parachutes should have been triggered. Maybe we just... Oh, maybe this wasn't part of what we triggered. It became a different... Can I, like, see... No, not this. Over here at the tracking station, can I see, like, if there are parts somewhere? Oh, now we have... debris, please. Are these... What can I do with this? Can I go... Let's fly it? I want to see... So this is 4 things. So it's... And it's much further apart, further away than we got in this last flight. So I think this is not... This is not from our test flight just now. What parts are these that are just sitting there in the ocean? Parachutes. At the bottom of the ocean, some parachutes. Okay, I guess. Looks like they never went off. They still think they're attached to something. Why is this flashing? What is MET? Huh. Alright, whatever. Yeah, we're 360 meters under the ocean. Let's recover this, I guess. So we did not succeed in recovering the little flea engines with the parachutes on them. I don't quite understand why. But yeah, we can recover these guys. Yeah, we just have spacecraft debris lying around everywhere. Let's pick it up. Did we get any money out of it? It doesn't seem that way. It's just a couple parachutes a very long way away. Okay. Well, now we have left nothing. Lying around on the ground. And we did some testing. We kind of built a rocket that looks like it might work, but we're going to do that in the next episode, now that we've tested some of the theories behind it. Whew, a lot of fiddling around in the VAB and not much building this episode. I might need to start doing some of that off camera, maybe. I don't know. For now, it's still fun to watch, I think, but as things get more complicated, it might not be. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.